Welcome to Sound Mind International. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Sound Mind International, whatever you might be watching this from. And this week's topic, we're going to be discussing about the angry Black woman, taken from an anchor scripture of Psalms 103, verse 6, and it reads, "The Lord executes righteousness and justice for all who are oppressed." We are not talking about equality, but we're asking for equity. Equity when it comes to resources, promotion in our place of work, equity in opportunities, and equity in access to capital. Your subtle but pervasive doubts about the Black woman's skills, competence, and intelligence for professional performance have contributed to what we call learned voicelessness. I call it intentional exclusion. Exclusion from networks, exclusion from professional occupation, and exclusion from mentors who could help the Black woman climb up the corporate ladder. Despite the extra hours put in, overqualification, and years of experience, majority of you listening through experience know in comparison to a Caucasian race or any other, we have to put in 110% before our work, results, and services are certified as acceptable. It is 2021, yet majority of women of color still lag behind like it's 1821, where they must be seen to take that representation in communities and organizations but not heard. Yet you call her the angry Black woman. Intentional exclusion, but you don't realize it. Your systems are designed to limit the Black woman's progress in organization and in securing roles of leadership. The Black women are left to struggle harder to access, and after access, they have to prove themselves, and after that, they struggle to advance. And God forbid that she comes back home to a critical, irresponsible narcissist of a husband who further diminishes her self-worth to nothing. The Black woman has been taught to hold it together, psychologically, emotionally, and physically. Facing injustice at work, hold it together. Facing abuse and neglect in your marriage or relationship, hold it together. And when those children get in trouble or go astray, you point the finger at the angry Black woman. I'm a messenger of the Lord, and I want to publicly apologize if I have fallen short in many ways to practically represent him in my attitude and temperament. But I return with his same message to warn his people that he's coming back soon. But before the Lord comes, he's doing a new thing. And I prophesy that Black women will make and break history after the order of Deborah in the world of politics, academia, businesses, and ministry. For the last shall become the first to build houses, universities, schools, own land, and businesses, and to preach the gospel in stadiums. And Jesus said, go into that village opposite you, and immediately you will find a donkey tied on a colt with her. Loose them and bring them to me. Yes, you, Black woman watching this, tied down in stagnancy, tied down in that job role, tied down with stress, tied down with the expectations of other people, tied down in that marriage, tied down with the responsibility of having to play the role of both mother and father, tied down with house chores, and lastly, tied down with the system. The Black woman keeps her mouth shut and puts her head down as she complies with the extra work and responsibilities that for some reason are not delegated or expected from her white colleagues. Your pettiness to inspect, your pettiness to complain, and to report about her performance add to the racial and gender discrimination the Black woman faces. If the roles were reversed, you would use your mental health and stress as an excuse ticket for your underperformance and covert racism, yet we label her as the angry Black woman. Tulijifundisha kizungu yenu. Nosotros aprendimos tu inglés. Takadiza chirungu chako. In translation, we learned your English. Yet how dare you measure our intellectual capacity with your default and oppressive system? But we comply with your requirements, policies, procedures to avoid being labeled as difficult or as the angry Black woman. Jesus needs your gifts, talents, dreams, and vision. But before the owner can loose you from where you're tied down, he needs you to change your thinking, what you think about yourself, what society, what people, banks, organizations have taught you to think about yourself. I need the Black woman to think she is worth more than an orgasm to satisfy the male sexual gratification and fetish. I need the Black woman to think she is worth more than a sex symbol of ginormous breasts and buttocks. I need the Black woman to think you are worth the effort, because culture, tradition, and religion have taught the Black woman to measure her strength by her capacity to endure or conceal sexual, physical, financial, and emotional abuse. I need the Black woman to heal and stop seeing herself as the angry Black woman. Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. What does the interpretation of Hosanna means? It means save now. Save the Black woman from being another statistic. Save the Black woman from being labeled as angry when all she needs is a little RESPECT. Save the Black woman from the system. Save the Black woman from shame. Save the Black woman from abuse. Save the Black woman from institutional racism. And save the Black woman from injustice. The Lord executes righteousness and justice for all who are oppressed. I congratulate and honor Black women or women of color who have paved the way and set a good pattern for other Black women to follow. But truthfully speaking, in the African community, at the meso level of systems, Black women still fight against Black women. Saul has killed 1,000, David has killed 10,000. Majority of us hate to see another Black woman win, potentially even surpass us without our personal input. It is within the African community. The person helping you, advising you, counseling you, who has your best interest, will be secretly praying for your downfall and checking in to monitor if their prophecies of doom have prevailed over your life. There are certain people and platforms that want a Black woman to use her gifts, talents, and freedom to the extent that makes them feel comfortable and superior. But the Lord of justice is saying to Black women, behold, he is doing a new thing with no one's permission. He will make a way where there seems to be no way for restoration and progress if you put your trust in him. Come on hither to this position. Come on hither to a new level of grace. Come on hither to a new level of skill, influence, and promotion. The Lord executes righteousness and justice for all who are oppressed. The majority of you watching this could be thinking, well, none of what I really said might apply to you. And of which, of course, maybe you might be right. You know, maybe the system does not oppress you. Your career good, you're progressing. I mean, you are winning 360-degree out of 360 days of a year. But is your soul saved? If the trumpets were to blow, are you sure of where your soul will spend eternity? I want to thank you very much for listening, and until next time, and keep thinking. Goodbye.